It's a wrap. It's a wrap. I need a drink. I need a drink. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. And we gonna eat. We gonna drink. We gonna party. We gonna eat. We gonna drink. And we gonna be back tomorrow.
Meanwhile, in the back, they're like working.
Okay, come back.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So we got to talk about more embarrassment for the mainstream liberal media, okay? Earlier today, I talked about Jake Tapper and the fact that his book allegedly is flopping, and the ratings for his show are tanking as he tries to pretend to be a real journalist by covering the cover-up of Joe Biden's mental decline, even though he participated in the cover-up, right? So with that being said, we got to talk about MSNBC, who basically refuses to talk about Joe Biden's mental decline, and their ratings are declining as well too, right? It's almost as if nobody, even liberals, don't want to watch CNN or MSNBC. Okay, it's pretty fascinating to see what's happening to these networks because they were betting on their ratings coming back after Trump got into office. Okay, we talked about this before. After the election, CNN and MSNBC saw a major decline in viewership due to the fact that a lot of Democrats, a lot of liberals probably were discouraged by the election results. They decided to tune out. They said, you know what? I'm good on politics, right? I'm upset that Trump won. And the idea was that once Trump gets into office and he starts to govern, that Trump derangement would save these networks.
We have never seen anything quite like what happened at the White House today.
Today, Donald Trump irreparably destroyed the 80-year-old post-World War II international order.
To rise to life's challenges, monarchs go beyond the classroom, roll up our sleeves, and dig.
An Oval Office ambush of an American ally that will reverberate all around the world and stain America's image for years to come.
That was, to say the least, the most contentious confrontation between world leaders perhaps we have ever seen, certainly on television.
It was a truly historic moment, not in the good way. One that I fear realigned the world order, upending the only foreign policy consensus that most living Americans and Europeans have ever known.
I've never seen anything like that in my entire life. What I saw is a complete transformation of what the United States is in the world.
Certainly was a day of shame for the United States. That clip, the footage of the Oval Office meeting, is going to be shown for years to come by politicians, government officials, historians, university professors, because it very clearly captures the moment when the Trump administration sent a signal that it was ceding America's traditional global leadership role.
However, we are getting clues that, hey, that's not what's happening here, right? As there's fresh embarrassment for struggling MSNBC as new lineup leads to disastrous ratings drop. Now, we're going to talk about this, but I just want to show a few clips here on why I believe that MSNBC's ratings are declining, okay? Specifically, when you talk about their rising stars, like, for example, Jen Psaki, I just don't think that people like her are in touch with reality, right? She's definitely not in touch with the average American. Just based off the things that she has said on this new show that I just find to be highly questionable, right? Like, for example, her take on biological boys compete against biological girls in sports.
Lines that ran over and over again in those ads and throughout right-wing media is this idea that America is faced with a crisis of boys playing in girls' sports. Now, these ads created this perception that the issues of trans kids playing sports was dominating schools across the country, which is completely false. Some people got pulled into that argument. I mean, immediately after the election, Congressman Seth Moulton told the New York Times that, quote, Democrats spend way too much time trying not to offend anyone rather than being brutally honest about the challenges many Americans face. I have 2 little girls. I don't want them getting run over on a playing field by a male or formerly male athlete. But as a Democrat, I'm supposed to be afraid to say that.
Or that time before the election where she basically mocked the American people for being concerned about illegal immigration and the border.
I mean, if you look at some of these exit polls, I mean, I live in Virginia. Immigration was the #1 issue.
Yeah.
I mean, again, these could change in Virginia.
Well, Virginia does have a border with West Virginia. Very contested area.
Like, what?
Or that time in which she dismissed the Her report, which essentially showed that Joe Biden was mentally declining. She basically tried to make it out to be a nothing burger.
It isn't perfect. No candidate is, by the way. But we have to understand what the alternative is here. If elected to a second term, Donald Trump would prosecute anyone he deems an enemy, unleash troops on protesters, and essentially unravel the rule of law as we know it. And this time, he plans to line his administration with people who will actually help him do it. But sure, Joe Biden is 3 years older and occasionally trips over things. Look, there's a lot to be concerned about right now when it comes to a second Trump term. The speeches are getting much more disturbing and much more unhinged, and we should all hear it that way. It's also important to talk about all of this and important to call it out. But there is nothing more important than digging into his actual plans. I wasn't aware that he was also a doctor, but he included this line, basically questioning the cognitive abilities of Joe Biden. And that has been the major focus of coverage about the Hur report. Now, I'm also not going to sit here and pretend that the president is a young sprite. He isn't. He would tell you he's not either. He's 81 years old. It's not a narrative, it's a fact. And the constant questioning about his age is one of the biggest challenges that his campaign faces. They know that. But let's not forget who 81-year-old Joe Biden is running.
And then she turns around and comes out and says, well, I didn't know that Biden was cognitively declining, even though she was in the White House with him for 2 to 3 years. She claims that she didn't see him and she hadn't talked to him, had nothing to do with him until after the election.
I left in May of 2022, just for the facts here. And I have seen Biden once since then, when I took my daughter to the holiday party this last December after he had lost. And so I hadn't seen him in person during that period of time. I never saw that person, not a single time. And I was in the Oval Office every day that was on that debate stage. I'm not a doctor. Aging happens quite quickly. Were things that people saw during that period of time that were similar to that or would have been in a category of that? I don't know, possibly, right? And all these books are going to tell us.
Do you think that were they actively covering it up? Were they sort of in denial, or was that just a bad debate? Like, what is your read on that?
Well, this is what I mean about cover up is a very loaded term, I think.
Well, it means you knew that it was really bad and you're pretending otherwise versus you're deluding yourself, which I think is what people do a lot.
Well, I understand, but I still think it's like cover up is often like a crime, right? We're talking, when people use that term.
They say it's worse than the crime.
People use that term as they relate to Watergate or the covering up of not sharing public information about a war.
Yeah, I'm not accusing anybody of a crime.
I understand, but other people have used that term, and I think it's a bit of a dangerous term.
Yeah, so it's not just Jen Psaki that is struggling. It is the whole lineup, right? Like, for example, MSNBC's linebacker and their closeted former RNC chair, their show is also heavily struggling as well, too. It's pretty easy to figure out why.
Did the book say that Joe Biden has dementia? No, not to my knowledge. Did the book say that a doctor has diagnosed the former president with Parkinson's? No, I think the book just says Joe Biden was old.
It did, but it also said that his aides limited his, how much time he will work during the day, and that it brought up, some concerns potentially for national security that he wouldn't have been available at 2 a.m.
I think it's crazy because Donald Trump is the president and he left his Middle Eastern trip and he's tweeting or posting on his social media site about Taylor Swift. It is laughable, frankly, to me, the idea that this is a concern. It's not a concern for Democratic voters, I can tell you, because I've talked to them. I'm talking to DNC members and Democratic voters for the last couple of days, actually. I do think, though, if this book tells us anything, it is this. Was the president in cognitive decline? I vehemently don't believe that as someone who saw the president a week before inauguration and someone that spoke to him recently. But was Joe Biden in denial about the political realities of the situation? I think so. And we have to ask ourselves, if that's the case, why? Well, I have to look to the people that were advising the president. What were they telling him? What weren't they telling him? But if we explore that, I think then some people who have yet to show up and take responsibility, then there are questions for them. It's easier, though, to just say, oh, well, the president was old.
Well, I'll ask you this.
Could you explain or maybe express how is this different? Because I've been thinking about this case in particular, but some of the others that are very similarly situated. How is this different from when Putin grabs a journalist or some rogue group in the Middle East grabs an American and we're sitting here fighting to try to get them back? Our own government did this. Our own government snatched him up and put him in harm's way and now refuses to do what it must do and should do to get him back home. Is there any difference in your view as a member of Congress when, you know, you're sitting here and you're getting intel and information on individuals around the globe who've been taken by, taken hostage by groups and organizations, and all this energy to try to get them back? I find we're doing the exact same thing here in the U.S. now.
Yeah, we
with our own government. We're petitioning our government to stop seizing people and grabbing them off the streets and putting them in foreign prisons.
Yeah.
This is the part that's killing me.
And don't forget the Venezuelans.
Yeah, so I think it's pretty safe to say that MSNBC has a credibility problem in the sense that not even Democrats and liberals want to watch MSNBC lie to them, all day long, considering how these are the same people that lied about.
You get black fatigue for watching motherfucking MSNBC. No bullshit. Black fatigue like a motherfucker watching that shit, man. Because you got them house niggas up there, man, still capping for these illegal migrants. It's just getting played out, man. Like, seriously, it's getting played out like a motherfucker, man. It is what it is. King Trump won the election, you house niggas get over it. Definitely had black fatigue watching MSNBC for real with these house niggas up there. Constantly cooning, man. Constantly cooning on the plantation, man. The MSNBC plantation.
Russia. Okay, they lied about Hunter Biden's laptop. They lied about the pandemic. They lied about the border when Biden was in office. Okay, they lied about the economy when Biden was in office. They lied about Biden's mental decline. Okay, they've lied about so many things.
They lied about everything, man. I'm sick of these niggas, man. Straight up, man. I'm sick of these niggas, man. Straight up. Not all my people. Y'all know the ones I'm tired of. The ones I got black fatigue from, y'all. I'm tired of them niggas, y'all. For real, man. Enough is enough, man. They coming up this bitch clowning like a motherfucker, man. Ignorant ass niggas, man. In the house. And Jasmine Crockett, you ain't gonna win, bitch. Getting tired of you motherfucking niggas, man. For real. Tired.
Now defending illegal immigrants, gang members, human traffickers, right? Advocating for them to be deported back.
Real, man. Motherfuckers need to be took out back and lynched like a motherfucker, man. I see why black folks was getting lynched in the past. They was house niggas, man, that deserved it. Facts.
Back into the United States of America. Yeah, that is just not something that I think that people want to watch, right? People don't want to be lied to all day long. They do not want to be gaslit. And MSNBC is just 24/7 gaslighting. And it's no surprise to me that their ratings are tanking into the dirt, right? Their whole new lineup, right? Their Trump deranged lineup is not working. Because like I told you guys, the idea was that, well, once Trump gets back into office, we turn back on the Trump derangement and our ratings will go up, right? And that's not what's happening. So without further ado, let's read this. MSNBC's new primetime lineup, which debuted on May 5th, failed to connect with viewers in its first 3 weeks as the network saw its audience decline to near record lows, especially in the key 25 to 54 age demographic. Overall for May, MSNBC dropped 41% in the primetime demo and 34% in the total day demo compared to May of 2024. In total viewers, the network was down 33%.
I noticed in the market, it's a lot of men that do the shopping now. Kids, nah, man. Straight up. It's a lot of men that be doing shopping with the kids now. I don't know if they got full custody of the kids, but I noticed that though. A lot of men stepping up to the plate. A lot of females lost their jobs. A lot of them lost their jobs, y'all. Yeah. I'm back, y'all. I don't even know why I pulled up in here. Lunch. I just came from the market. Crib and make me a motherfucking bacon, egg, and cheese on toast, goddammit. You heard? Fuck what you heard. But yeah, a lot of men, you know what I mean? Stepping up to the pussy. 6:40, y'all. 6:40 a.m.
3% across total day and 24% in primetime. MSNBC's total day demo viewership sank to 49,000 average viewers and 73,000 in primetime, its second worst ever showing for a month behind January of 2025. Yeah, so again, like I told you guys, they did not see the sharp recovery in viewers that they thought they would see, right? They rolled out Rachel Maddow. They actually made her go to work for 5 days. Right? Because before she was working just 1 day. So for the first 100 days of President Trump's presidency, they rolled out Rachel Maddow, right? They fired Joy Reid, okay? They shaked up the lineup. And turns out the viewers are not coming back, right? They're not coming back. Hilarious. Fox News was the only of the big three networks to see year-over-year gains for May, up 21% in total viewers and 22% in total day demo viewers compared to 2024. In primetime, Fox gained 23% in total viewers and was up 32% in the demo. CNN was down 24% in total day viewers and 27% in the daytime demo, while in primetime, the network dropped 18% in total viewers and 21% in the demo. CNN's primetime average came in at only 426,000 total viewers compared to Fox News' 2.5 million viewers and MSNBC's average of 877,000 viewers. Yeah, so CNN is just completely and totally irrelevant, right? I don't think anybody's watching CNN except those TVs at the airports, right? I mean, those are the only people watching CNN at this point. MSNBC, again, I'm surprised that they're even averaging 877,000 viewers. I'm not sure who these 877,000 people are, but they need to get their brains checked, okay? Because I don't understand why they would like being lied to and gaslit all day. Right. MSNBC's new lineup saw the 7 p.m. launch of the weeknight and Jen Psaki replacing Alex Wagner Tuesday through Friday at 9 p.m., while Rachel Maddow returned to hosting only on Mondays at 9 p.m. Maddow returned to MSNBC 5 nights a week to cover the first 100 days of Trump's second administration. The weeknight, Simone Sanders, Townsend, Michael Steele, and Alicia Menendez panel program saw viewership during its time slot decline 13% compared to the average viewership for 2025 before its launch. The weeknight's average of 770,000 viewers was also 36% lower than the 1.2 million viewers that watched MSNBC at 7 p.m. during the same period last year. Yeah, so what we have here is this new lineup, right? These new shows. The viewership is tanking, right? After the show launches, less people watch, right? They turn off the television and say, you know, I really don't want to see a linebacker and a zesty Republican talk to me about how they hate Trump all day, right? At some point, hating Trump is just not good television, right? It might have been good television during his first administration because let's be real, their heyday, okay, when these people were in their glory days, CNN, MSNBC, it is when President Trump was in office his first term. And they thought that they could repeat that by putting out Trump derangement 24/7. And it's just not working, right? At some point, people are just going to turn it off, especially considering how it didn't work when it comes to the election, right? Trump still won. So at what point does it really matter anymore what these people say about Trump? It doesn't matter. And that's why I think people are running away from this. Again, including liberals and progressives are saying, you know what? I'd rather just not watch this, right? I mean, these people are lying to me and Trump is winning anyways. Psaki's numbers so far have also registered a dip for her hour. Psaki's show averaged 973,000 total viewers since launch, which is 46% less than the 1.82 million average viewers that have watched MSNBC at 9 p.m. so far this year to see Maddow, who is by far the biggest draw on cable news outside of Fox. Notably, however, Psaki's numbers is also 20% down from Alex Wagner's average during the same period in 2024 when Maddow was also only hosting Mondays. Yeah, so Jen Psaki's so bad that not only has her audience been cut in half, okay, compared to what Rachel Maddow was pulling in, okay? But also, Psaki is worse than Alex Wagner, who replaced Rachel Maddow, and then Alex Wagner's show ended up doing worse than Rachel Maddow's show, so they replaced Alex Wagner with Jen Psaki ultimately, and Jen Psaki's show is worse than Alex Wagner's. You can't make this up. You really cannot make this up. MSNBC is in the tank, okay? They're not as bad as CNN, but they're getting there, right? They're getting there. Maddow's Monday program averaged 1.8 million total viewers since the new lineup launch, which is a 24% dip from the same period last year, during which she pulled in 2.4 million viewers. CNN and MSNBC continue to feel a ratings drop as many on the left continue to avoid overly engaging with news media, and audiences in general embrace alternative sources of information like podcasts and YouTube. Notably, upstart cable news station News Nation also saw gains year over year in May, with total day viewers up 21% and the total day demo rising 50%. Newsmax also saw its total day demo surge 60%, but dipped 2% in total daily average viewership. Yeah, so what we have here is evidence of what I've been saying for a while now about what these channels, what these propaganda outlets need to consider, which is to have less propaganda and to have more balance, right? For as much as these people want to smear Fox News, okay, Fox News has balance, okay? Fox News has opinions across the spectrum, okay? Even though they obviously are right-leaning, you can go on Fox News and get a little bit of everything, right? But you're not getting a little bit of everything on MSNBC, okay? You're not getting anything at all on MSNBC that is even remotely pro-Trump. Now, on CNN, they try to dabble in it a little bit, but the anchors are so biased, right? Things are so overwhelmingly biased at CNN that they don't do a good job at pretending to be neutral, okay? News Nation actually does a decent job, in my opinion, when it comes to trying to at least portray a sense of neutrality, and Newsmax obviously more right-leaning as well too. But I'm just saying that it seems like MSNBC is not recovering the way that they thought they would recover when Trump actually got into office, because again, they thought that once Trump gets back in office, they could run the propaganda, the Trump deranged propaganda, the lies, and that would bring the viewers back, right? The fear mongering would bring the viewers back, and they've tried their best, okay, over the past few months to fear monger as much as they can about President Trump, and it just hasn't worked to bring eyeballs back to the network. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.
Want to know how I got my entire
facts? That's 100% physac though, not fiction. Yeah, man. Black fatigue is real. Man, y'all see why I got that shit. I mean, I don't got it on all my peoples, but y'all know the ones I got that shit from. I mean, literally. Tired of these niggas, man. They just need to shut the fuck up.
Still waters don't mean peace. It means calculation. It means vengeance is hibernating. They laugh too loud when you're not around. Smile too wide when you fail, but you see it, don't you? Every fake handshake, every poisoned compliment. They think you're asleep because you haven't spoken, because you haven't snapped. But sleep, oh, sleep is for the weak. You've been listening with your soul, watching with your third eye, plotting like a ghost in a house full of traitors. And soon, the silence they mocked will be the storm that buries them. They don't understand quiet rage. They fear what they can't read, what they can't predict. They want a loud enemy, someone who barks, someone who begs. But you became the worst thing they never saw coming. You learned to sharpen your claws beneath your own skin. You stopped explaining. You started evolving. While they faked their power with filters and noise, you built yours in the shadows, one painful lesson at a time. Someone near you is rotting. They laugh too easily, but that smile hides a virus, one they caught from living a life of envy, lies, and cowardice. And now, it's eating them alive, but they hide it under designer clothes and empty validation. You know the type. The ones who pretend they're kings while secretly choking on the crown. They think you're beneath them, but soon they'll be choking on your silence. You didn't wake up angry, you woke up aware. That's what terrifies them. You outgrew the leash they tied around your potential. You saw their manipulation, their cowardice, their sabotage, and now you don't even flinch. You're calm, too calm. That type of calm that only comes before blood spills. And trust me, Karma's polishing her nails, waiting for the cue. Your cue. This ain't revenge. This is mathematics. Add the lies, subtract the loyalty, multiply the disrespect, and what do you get? A reckoning. Cold, clinical, undeniable. You're not here to throw punches. You're here to replace thrones. You're not shouting to be heard. You're whispering. So only the guilty hear you, and they will. Let them keep guessing. Let them keep underestimating. Because by the time they realize what you've become, it'll be too late to run. You didn't need a comeback. You became something far worse. A silence so loud it haunts. A presence so heavy it crushes. They think you're sleeping? Nah. You're rebirthing. Quiet. Calculated. Cursed with clarity. And what's coming? They ain't built for it. They look healthy, but Rod smiles too. They walk around dressed in confidence, but if you peel the skin back just an inch, you'll see the maggots dancing underneath.
Facts. God damn it, facts.
Death comes in coffins. Some walk around dead, pretending to live. Their laughter, hollow. Their energy, borrowed. They spend their days gossiping because it distracts from the smell of their own decay. They pretend you're the problem, because admitting the truth would mean facing the rot inside. That cough you heard wasn't from a cold. It was the sound of envy choking them from the inside out. The smirk they flashed when you failed, that was desperation wearing lipstick. They don't hate you because you did something wrong. They hate you because you're still breathing ambition while they're drowning in mediocrity. And here's the thing. Their sickness ain't contagious. It's self-inflicted. A slow suicide of the soul. Every backstab was a cry for help disguised as dominance. Every lie was a symptom of something deeper. Terminal insecurity. They didn't betray you for fun. They did it because watching you grow felt like dying to them. Every step you took forward exposed just how stuck they really were. You lit a fire in yourself, and they tried to smother it with their sickness. But truth is, you were never meant to burn quietly. And now they sit in rooms filled with other infected hearts, nodding, complaining, pretending their failure is your fault. Misery loves company, right? But you left the funeral early. You refused to bury yourself with them. You chose to rise, to become untouchable, not in body, but in spirit. You learned to walk like a ghost through their chaos, and they hate you for surviving what should have killed you. They're terminal, not in health, but in hope, spiritually bankrupt, emotionally poisoned, rotting behind smiles, pretending everything's fine while karma draws a red circle around their name. And you're the cure they'll never get. You're the proof that pain doesn't have to end in decay. You turned your suffering into strategy, your silence into strategy, and now you're not just alive, you're dangerous. So let them smile, let them post, let them pretend, because behind every fake grin is a countdown they can't stop. And the more they try to drag you down, the more obvious it becomes. They're the ones dying. And you're already immortal. Karma doesn't knock. She moves in wearing your face. They thought karma would be a car crash, a lightning bolt, some twisted twist of fate. But no, karma put on boots, woke up, breathed in your lungs, and smiled because you were the consequence wrapped in skin, the nightmare dressed like the quiet one. You weren't a reaction, you were the plan, a slow surgical reckoning, masked as silence, built in fire, driven by betrayal. And when you showed up, you didn't need to raise your voice. Your presence was the punishment. Every lie they whispered is now echoing in rooms where your name tastes like power. Every time they counted you out, they accidentally gave you numbers to count your wins. They thought they could bury you under shame, under doubt. But all they did was give you dirt to build a throne. And now, you sit higher than they ever imagined. Not because of luck, but because you became what they feared most. A version of you that doesn't flinch, doesn't forget, doesn't forgive. They tried to create your ending, but they signed their own sentence in the process. What they did behind closed doors, it followed them. And every wicked intention, every backroom whisper, it birthed you. The cold truth they never wanted to face, they made you. They built this beast. And now, you walk through their lives like a mirror they can't shatter. You are everything they prayed you'd never become. Unaffected, unstoppable, They thought karma would take years. But karma had your name and a schedule. It didn't come late. It arrived the moment you stopped caring. The second you stopped playing nice. When you decided that survival wasn't enough. You wanted dominance. That's when karma stepped aside and handed you the knife. And you didn't stab back. Nah, you let your success slice them open slowly. You were never a victim. You were an answer, a correction, a beautifully constructed warning wrapped in calm rage. And the irony, the more they tried to destroy you, the more they guaranteed your evolution. So now when they look at you, they don't see a person. They see justice in motion. They see karma smiling through your eyes. The loudest ones are always hiding the most. Listen closely. The ones who talk the most, the ones always flexing, always performing, always pointing fingers, they're screaming through their silence. They decorate their misery in design, wrap their shame in sarcasm, loud, 'cause if they ever shut up, the truth might crawl out their throat. Fake confidence ain't power, it's panic. It's the sound of rot trying to look alive, and they wear it like perfume, hoping no one smells the decay underneath. They slander you not because of who you are, but because of what you represent. You're everything they swore they'd become, but never had the guts to chase. You remind them of the fire they let die. You make them uncomfortable because you exist without needing their validation. You don't beg for a seat at the table. You build your own. And they hate that because deep down, They know they'd rather be accepted than legendary. Their entire identity is a disguise, one long costume party for a soul that's long been buried. They mocked your struggle, laughed at your pain, but you weren't breaking, you were blooming. And that terrified them, because someone who can endure what you endured, someone who can rise after being buried alive, can never be controlled. So they tried to make you the joke, hoping the crowd would laugh with them and forget your power. But you stood still. You didn't flinch. And in that stillness, you showed them the truth. You were the mirror. The one thing they couldn't manipulate. You held up a reflection they couldn't stand to see. So they tried to shatter it. But breaking a mirror doesn't change the face. It just cuts deeper. And now they're bleeding from wounds they gave themselves, trying to erase you. The loud ones, they always fall first. Because the taller the branch, the harder the collapse when the roots are rotten. They build castles out of likes, thrones out of gossip. And you built silence into strength, storms into strategy. You never needed to scream, because real power doesn't beg to be seen, it just is.
I'm putting $10,000 into an RRSP this year to reduce my taxable income. The first $1,000 will go into 2 ETFs, so $500 each. The first
And now, while their voices crack from all the noise, yours echoes in every room, untouched, unmatched, unapologetic. Anger is just truth in a leather jacket. They told you to calm down, to be the bigger person, to let it go. Why? So they could stay comfortable while you drown in silence? Nah. Rage isn't weakness. It's clarity on fire. It's the raw signal that something sacred was crossed, that your boundaries weren't just tested, they were violated. And what do you do with that fire? You don't snuff it out. You forge steel with it. You build your next move with hands still shaking from the betrayal. Your rage is real. It's earned. It's sacred. You felt that sting because you gave a damn, and they mistook your kindness for compliance. But the storm they planted, you've now weaponized it. You don't need revenge, you need results. And rage, that's your blueprint now. Every sleepless night becomes a set. Every silent scream becomes a step. And every ounce of fury becomes fuel for your rebirth. You see, they want you passive, predictable, forgettable. But you weren't built for forgiveness. You were built for transformation. And transformation requires fire, requires obsession, requires rage. Controlled rage, directed like a sniper shot. Not to destroy recklessly, but to rebuild yourself ruthlessly. You ain't angry. You're focused. You're sharpened. You're becoming the storm they swore you couldn't survive. Let them call you unstable. Let them label you toxic. Because deep down, they know your silence used to be restraint. But now, it's preparation. They just don't know what for. Every time they counted you out, they added weight to the hammer you're about to swing. And when it drops, it won't be personal. It'll be calculated, surgical, poetic. So don't suppress your rage. Sculpt it, turn it into habits, discipline, dominance. Anger isn't what breaks you, it's what wakes you. Let every scar be a checklist. Let every betrayal be a lesson. And let your next version carry that fury like a blade tucked in your smile. Because when rage meets purpose, you don't just rise, you rule. The cave you feared wasn't hell, it was home. You weren't raised in comfort, you were baptized in chaos. No soft landings, no warm hands, just cold stares and slammed doors. That pain, that silence, that aching pit of being unseen, that was your mentor. While they were busy chasing ease, you were choking on reality. And still, you survived. You adapted. You turned rock bottom into a workshop. You didn't escape the darkness. You studied in it. You graduated from it. Neglect taught you to self-generate love. Heartbreak taught you to seal your own cracks. Loss taught you to move like a ghost but strike like thunder. And loneliness, that was your initiation. It showed you the weight of your own voice when no one else clapped. What broke others just introduced you to your real self. You're not damaged. You're engineered differently, designed for pressure, forged to move when others freeze. They think darkness is the enemy, something to run from. But you became it. You made peace with shadows, learned their language, and now you don't fear the void. You use it. While they beg for light, you build in silence. While they collapse from minor inconvenience, you walk through hell and sip tea. Calm, unbothered, focused. Because what they call suffering, you call rest. You were trained in isolation, perfected through humiliation, refined through betrayal. The fire didn't burn you, it sterilized you, stripped you of weakness, burned away the extra. And now you move like something sent, not born, something sculpted in silence, and now unleashed. So next time someone asks where your strength comes from, don't tell them. Just show up with the storm in your chest and let them guess how a ghost came back wearing armor. They'll never understand because they never stayed in the cave long enough to learn. It wasn't hell. It was home. People lie with their mouths. Their pupils don't know how. You want to know who your enemies are? Don't listen to what they say. Watch what their eyes do when you enter the room. Smiles lie, compliments deceive, but the eyes, they stutter, they tremble, they flicker like faulty wires trying to hide a fire. You walk in calm, composed, and suddenly their energy shifts. That ain't coincidence. That's truth, flinching. That's the soul panicking in real time. Read them without their words, you'll see it.
709, y'all.
The forced grin, the way their pupils shrink when your presence grows. Their mouth says, I'm happy for you, but their body says, why not me? That twitch in their cheek, that micro shift in their jawline, that's fear. Unfiltered. You didn't even speak, and already you're louder than their entire act. The higher you rise, the more their masks crack. Because elevation doesn't just lift you, it exposes them. You want loyalty? Watch their reactions, not their replies. The truth hides in plain sight, in glances, in nervous.
There's always events going down here, y'all. Especially with the weather breaking. There's going to be more events going on down here on Saturdays. Especially when they had a car show down here.
You cannot tell me this is not the coolest
saying? So there'll be a lot going on, y'all. So as you can see, the cars coming over the fucking cyber truck.
You're perceptive. And the world hates people who see without being told. They'll call you crazy just to convince you that your intuition's broken. But don't gaslight yourself. Don't doubt the vibe that made your skin crawl. That tension wasn't imagined. That shift wasn't subtle. It was real. It was them, leaking secrets through their damn pupils. So from now on, watch more. Speak less. Study their reactions like scripture. Let their posture write their confession. And when you walk into a room, don't seek approval. Scan for weakness. Because that glance they couldn't control, that was your confirmation. You've already won. Not every war needs peace. Some just need winners. Let it burn. Let the past stay broken. You were never meant to fix what was designed to fracture you. Stop searching for closure in people who celebrated your wounds. Stop begging for understanding from minds built on manipulation. Some people aren't here to heal with you. They're here to watch you bleed. And if you're smart, you'll let them choke on the silence you leave behind. They picked the battlefield. You picked the blueprint. While they slung mud, you built thrones. While they stalked your failures, you engineered your escape. No need for explanations. No need for one more wasted word. You don't owe them peace. You owe yourself progress. Your elevation is the verdict. Every step you take forward is a slap to the past that tried to chain you. You're not here to change them. You're not here to make them see the light. You are the light they tried to smother. But here you are, breathing, building, evolving. Let them keep your name in there.
That motherfucking street ain't about to buckle, y'all. And this one right here, too. I don't know what it is.
Not bitterness, not violence, but becoming so untouchable. They have to watch you win from the sidelines they chose. They can keep their false apologies. You're keeping receipts. They can play victim. You're too busy being unforgettable. You're not obsessed with fairness anymore. You're obsessed with lifting pain like iron, rep after rep, heartbreak after heartbreak. They mocked your grind because they couldn't handle your silence. But in the silence, you mutated. They laughed when you were down, but they never noticed how still you got, like the eye of a storm preparing. They thought your quiet was weakness, but real monsters don't roar. They study, they plot, and now you're not just rising, you're reshaping. You're becoming something no blueprint predicted.
Yeah, this mechanic, he wanted, I need a compressor, right? And he thought I was Boo-Boo the Fool by telling me that, put a compressor on here, fix the air. This motherfucker said $750, y'all. Thought I was a fool, y'all. Thought I was Boo-Boo the Fool. But goes to show you. Everybody out here trying to get over on people, y'all. Everybody. If you don't cover your tracks, they will get over on you. $750 for a fucking compressor to put in. God damn it, after that I just gave you $150. And you put the Freon in there with the dye so you can detect the leak. But that shit only lasted a fucking day. One day. And all that shit leaked out. I bring it back to you. You got my car out there all day just to tell me You might think it's the compressor. Bring it back next week and I'll for sure know. Then bring it back. You got it out there for another whole day just to tell me, yeah, I think, yeah, it's the compressor. Bullshit. Notice where that leak was at. That water main break. Oh shit. It's a water main break, y'all. It's a water main break, y'all. Smell it. That's what's happening. Hey, I turn the water off from here. We out, y'all. I did hear that earlier.
Something the soft ones can't mimic. They distracted themselves with comfort. You adapted through chaos. They can't handle conflict because they've been coddled by ease. But you've been sleeping in fire. You've been sipping poison and growing immune. You've turned every loss into armor, every betrayal into fuel. And now that the world's getting colder, you're just starting to feel at home.
I hate drama, y'all. It's like, what's real is parking wars, y'all. People will wring your neck over parking. And I try not to get my goddamn temperature over bull over some fucking parking. You understand me? It's not that serious. I avoid that shit, y'all. Real tough. But you know, I know it's a respect thing, but you know how the world is. People losing their minds out this motherfucker, y'all. People losing their minds out here. Do y'all know what from? Is it in the air? I'm gonna end the video, y'all. On this good Sabbath day.